It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion. This is for Friday, the 24th of July. I'm Michael Groff. Monsoon moisture still around for the next couple of days, leading to chances of showers and storms across the state. Of course, the nature of the storms will be scattered, so not everybody's going to get wet. We'll see a decreasing chance of rain thereafter, but monsoon moisture won't be gone too long. By the middle part of next week, should see a resurgence in humidity levels and rain chances once again. Now, before we dive into all of that, let's change things up just a little bit. Why not? It's a Friday. Check out some cool photos sent in by Greg, who's one of our viewers. Weather in action out there. These look to have been taken over mainly the Southeast Valley over the course of the last few weeks. And I know there hasn't been a whole lot to look at, but these are some spectacular shots. And hopefully we can see a lot more of this kind of stuff. And of all of these, I think these last two are my favorites. This one and this one, some very prolific lightning out there. And if you have some photos you want to send in, go ahead. groffshow@gmail.com. Videos as well. My email address once more, groffshow@gmail.com. All right, checking out the Almanac from yesterday. And yeah, how about this? 98 degrees the afternoon high. We didn't even make the triple digits. The low temperature occurred just before midnight. That was 86. Of course, temperatures held down thanks to some clouds and higher humidity, even a few thunderstorms around parts of the metro. Outside now, here at 8:10 a.m., we've got a few clouds out there, sitting at 84 degrees at Sky Harbor, but yeah, it's pretty muggy. Dew point at 64, relative humidity 52%. The winds are light and the barometer is rising. Temperatures out there this morning, the cool spots, Thompson Peak and Fort McDowell at 75. Most spots upper 70s to low and mid 80s. Here's the upper air look, and it's pretty much the same old story we've been talking about for the last few days. Ridging to the east, troughing and much drier air to the west. Arizona kind of in the battleground between those two. And the dry air will ultimately win out by later in the weekend, but for now, most of us here across the eastern two-thirds of the state are still in the monsoon soup, so that'll lead to scattered showers and thunderstorms. Here's the watch warning map, a number of heat advisories, even some excessive heat warnings for, of all places, Fargo and Grand Forks, North Dakota, Crookston, Minnesota, as well as the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. Tropical storm warnings out there over the Texas coast, and of course some associated flood watches there. Speaking of, we have flash flood watches for parts of southeast Arizona, around Oracle, Oro Valley, Tucson, down toward Benson. The convective outlook for today, the slight risk of severe storms, parts of Nebraska, the Dakotas, western Minnesota, a marginal risk for the adjacent areas, another marginal risk zone for the middle Atlantic states. In Arizona, we're in the green, so thunderstorm activity is expected, but no organized severe weather appears likely, although any one storm can become severe. Here's a look at the tropics, and it's getting pretty active there. First, in the Atlantic Basin, we've got Gonzalo, and we've got Hannah over the Gulf. We'll look at Gonzalo first. And this is a tropical storm, max sustained winds 60 miles per hour. It will be approaching the Windward Islands as it does, could strengthen to a hurricane. But then once it gets out over the Caribbean, it looks like it will be weakening thanks to a lot of subsidence, some very dry air, unfavorable conditions. But the thinking is if it can survive through the Caribbean and make it into the Gulf or close to the Gulf, it may start to re-intensify as conditions are much more favorable there. Speaking of the Gulf, we have our newest system on the board here. This is Tropical Storm Hannah, located roughly south of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Moving to the west, maximum sustained winds, 40 miles per hour. This is expected to make landfall on the Texas coast as a tropical storm somewhere south of Corpus Christi. This will mostly be a very heavy rain producer moving into Mexico ultimately, and could actually impact our weather down the road at some point. Some of that remnant moisture could get caught up in our monsoon flow. We'll keep you apprised of that. Out in the Pacific, meanwhile, we've got a major hurricane to talk about here. This is Douglas. Look at the satellite presentation on this. Very well-defined, well-organized hurricane. Maximum sustained winds 130 miles per hour, and that makes it a Category 4 on the Saffir-Simpson scale as it continues to move to the west-northwest. And it will be weakening as it approaches the Hawaiian Islands. But the official track from the National Hurricane Center still has it as a Category 1 system just to the northeast of Hilo by 8 a.m. Sunday morning, then further weakening to a tropical storm as it crosses potentially directly over some of the other islands there, Maui or Oahu. And so the threat will be from hurricane force winds perhaps very early Sunday morning through the midday hours for the Big Island. Tropical storm force winds as it crosses over through the day on Sunday for the rest of the island chain. And of course, very heavy rain will also be a likely threat there. Looking at modeling from the European ensemble, the ensemble mean, the black line, and it's pretty much in line with the Hurricane Center forecast track. But obviously, even a change of 25 to 50 miles in this track, one way or the other, could have huge implications. Naturally, the strongest winds and the heaviest rain will be along and just north of the center of circulation. Okay, closer to home, let's take a look at precipitation across the state for the next 7 days from the WPC. No rain expected for the far western portions. For us here in the valley, generally at or under 1/4 of an inch, but anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of rain possible for the eastern rim, the eastern mountains, southeast Arizona. And as we always tell you, your amount will vary. Okay, let's dive into modeling right now, see what's going on with this weather pattern. Check it out, the GFS, the 06Z run, valid at 2 o'clock this afternoon. A rather strong trough for late July continues to the west, a ridge to the east, Arizona under a southerly flow, so down at the surface, a mix of sun and clouds and scattered showers and thunderstorms possible around at least the eastern 2/3 of Arizona once again today. And while they could happen anytime here in the valley, the best chance is during the afternoon hours. Gusty winds and heavy rain, the primary threat. Highs this afternoon, upper 90s to near 101, and it will be muggy. Tonight, the skies are mostly cloudy, will be rather muggy, especially if the 3-kilometer NAM pans out. Those dew points up in the 70s, goodness. And overnight lows upper 70s to mid-80s with a continued chance of showers and thunderstorms. And looking at the convective allowing models, this is the HRRR at 10 o'clock. It's got a few showers and storms rumbling their way into the valley at that time. And the instability profiles don't look all that impressive. Cape values about 500-600 joules per kilogram here off the HRRR, and rather similar off of the other models as well. But still, I do think the chance of storms will be with us. And then tomorrow, more of the same, partly sunny, chance of showers and storms. I think the drier air makes a little bit more of an intrusion into the western part of the state, but we should still be in the monsoon action here. But then after Saturday, the forecast becomes a little bit more uncertain. We still have a fairly similar synoptic pattern, but the dry air should push a little bit further to the east, troughing to the west, ridging to the east. Any one day could see a flare-up of showers and storms if disturbance should rotate around that ridge and get into Arizona. But for the most part, I think storms will be confined to the higher terrain of eastern Arizona at that time. Highs on Sunday, upper 90s to about 103, and we'll tack on a degree or two each day thereafter, with partly cloudy skies and isolated storms continuing over the higher terrain on Monday, Tuesday, and even on Wednesday. The chance of rain technically still not zero here in Phoenix, but at least until the middle part of next week, we're going to keep the rain chance out of our forecast until otherwise noted. Now by Thursday, we've got a negative tilt trough going into the Pacific Northwest, ridging, meandering back toward the Four Corners, better monsoon flow in here, so we'll put at least a slightly better chance of showers and storms into our forecast. High temperatures will be on the toasty side, though, between about 104 and 108, and a few of the models show readings could be warmer than that. Here's a week from today. This is Friday the 31st. High pressure over the Four Corners, negative tilt shortwave in the Pacific Northwest. And that looks like a monsoon setup for us. And going out 10 days to the end of the period, this is Sunday the 2nd of August. And it's more of the same, really. High pressure around the Four Corners, southeasterly flow in place, partly sunny, hot, humid, chance of afternoon and evening showers and storms, perhaps statewide, as a more active pattern looks to set up once again for late next week and into the following weekend. All right, let's look at precipitation off of the European ensemble, and the ensemble mean is up around 2/3 or 3/4 of an inch. And temperatures off the national blend of models, a warming trend for the weekend and into next week, highs getting up toward 110 degrees once again. But I have a feeling that if monsoon moisture does return and we have a more active pattern, temperatures could be quite a bit lower than this. And those overnight lows will mostly be in the 80s, but you never know. One morning we could even still stay in the 90s. All right, and that'll do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video back here tomorrow morning. And if you enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe, like, share, and click that notification bell so that whenever we post a brand new video, you'll be alerted. Your comments, questions, and suggestions always encouraged as well. I thank you so much for watching. Really do appreciate it. Be safe out there. Stay cool. Drink plenty of water. Watch your kids around the pool. And you guys have yourselves a great Friday and a sensational weekend.